So I think the technology is like, getting slowly ready for a world where this AI entities, if you want to call them like this, are able to like live on their own. Obviously, miners or like validators in these networks, they're paid in crypto, and these agents have wallets. So it's it's potentially something that could come to reality rather sooner than later, and like how to stop like an like a digital being with money living on free, decentralized, like open networks. It's going to be very difficult. Like I don't have a direct answer for that, unfortunately.
Welcome to the 1 to 1 Million podcast, your weekly crypto alpha for those who never quit. This week, I'm talking to CreatorBid, a platform that allows anyone to launch their own truth terminal-like AI agent with a token attached to them. They've actually been building this platform well before the recent hype of Truth Terminal and have a really unique vision for what AI agents will be in the future and how we'll interact with them. I wanted to do this podcast because of all the hype around Truth Terminal. I wanted to kind of dive into what's being built and get some sort of idea of maybe, what comes next. And I think one of the really unique things about CreatorBid is that the AIs that come with CreatorBid actually have their own wallet attached to them that they themselves control and can dictate, how those funds are used. They charge a certain fee for like the sales of their token or something like that. And they can earn money based on the content they create. It's really, really interesting kind of take on how AI agents work. And they kind of envision this future of AI influencers who create content ranging from music to books to photo and video content and more. It was a really interesting conversation. It had me rethinking AI and how we'll interact with them in the future. I think in the end, he won me over to their kind of view that we will have these massive AI influencers. I mean, we already do today. There's already some massive AI influencers on Instagram, etc. But I think we're gonna have a lot more ranging from like YouTubers to like musicians to OnlyFans, all kinds of crazy stuff in the future. And they're going to create a range of content and they're going to make money from that content. And it might be a platform like CreatorBid that where people are, buying this token and kind of tapping into what that creator is doing via a token like this. It's, again, just a really interesting way to think of it. I think anyone who is interested in AI and crypto in the way they intersect and AI agents will be really interested in this conversation and kind of their views on the future AI creator economy. Let's dive in. So my kind of foray into this whole thing was obviously, I think like a lot of people I saw on Twitter, the whole Truth Terminal Goatsy thing where, you had this it's like AI agent or whatever on Twitter. They like became obsessed with like this weird meme. And then they ended up creating like this like religion around it or something. And then I guess they got funded with $50,000. I don't know like the full depths of the story. They got funded with $50,000. Somebody ended up creating this meme. I'm not sure exactly who ended up creating the meme, but it ended up going crazy because this AI Truth Terminal just started promoting it all over the place because they were just really pumped about it. So that's kind of how I think the whole industry started shifting their attention to this whole like narrative of like AI agents, crypto, how they intersect. I guess, what are your thoughts about all of that and how this started and maybe where this is going?
Yeah, I think Truth Terminal is around since a while. Don't nail me at the dates. It was 2000. Yeah, I think it's at least like around for a year, like just creating content and posting and being edgy. And I think some machine learning kind of, like community members, they kind of followed it and kind of engaged with it and thought it's funny. And then what happened just recently was the launch of the Go token. And then, yeah, like having Truth Terminal accepting the Go token or like saying like this is like basically affiliating the Truth Terminal with the Go token. And it was like this beautiful moment of like classic Web3 crypto network effects kicking in, right? The moment there's a token, like a community forms of people who are like buying and holding the token or trading the token and just like amplifying this narrative. And I think this is like how it was like taken like like crypto Twitter by storm, about like this new narrative of an AI agent having a token and people can like speculate on it. And then yeah, what you touched on obviously like the Mark Andreessen, quite famous, like he gave like a grant, like he was chatting with the Groove Terminal and he was like saying how much do you need to be set free, And I think it's like a fascinating dream. Like everyone who saw like the latest Mission Impossible movie, like about the entity, a computer virus breaking or like an AI virus breaking free, living on like government servers or whatnot. Yeah, it's just very intriguing. And then like Truth Terminals are like, I think, I don't know, like if you set the price, but like 50K in Bitcoin, is what he got as a one-time grant from Mike Andreessen. I think, yeah, it's definitely like amplified the whole narrative.
So what is an AI agent? I think that might be kind of confusing to some people. Like, what exactly is an AI agent? How would you define it?
Mhm. Yeah, I would say an AI agent I would define as a distinct like entity which has an objective to do something. Like similar to like how like in game theory or like in economics, like we are called like humans are agents. Like economic agents with a goal to like achieve something and normally accumulate like points, alias money or tokens. These agents can also have goals and then they can be connected with like certain tools. In the case of Truth Terminal, obviously it's connected to an LLM. I think they use Claude Opus, like a fine-tuned model on Fortran language. It's connected to Twitter, so via the API to automatically post. Has some other tools and has like its very own character and like how it talks and basically what it defines its identity.
You guys created a crypto app that basically launches AIs like Token Terminal. Maybe you can go into details about how that works. What is that? What's the kind of the thought behind it? Is that kind of inspired by Truth Terminal or yeah?
So yeah, like the whole thing, as I mentioned before, like came together like with the idea of like my GPTs, the ability to give AI like a name, like a personality and a face. And then looking at Web 2, there are kind of like already a bunch of like virtual influencers or AI influencers around. I think big inspiration was like AI Tana, like a very like stunningly looking fitness model, completely created with AI and some Photoshop. And so on CreatorBid, we started the whole process like I think in April we started building, and it basically offers the core features of Truth Terminal. So it's like we call it also like the Truth Terminal people's launchpad. So you can just like create your own version without being like a developer or like have like special technical skills. So if you look at Truth Terminal, what it is, it's like like a very distinct persona. It's like very edgy in all the way it talks. It has a social media connection in the case to Twitter. It has its own token, and yeah, I think that's like around, and it creates obviously content automatically. So that's like in a nutshell, like unique persona connected to the social, creating content automatically, and having a token. And on Creator.bit, everyone can come. The goal was to make it, like as simple as possible. Like this pump.fun experience where it's like, like stupid simple to create something. In this case, an AI agent. You can just like chat with the AI. You have a funny idea, might be, the next like hippo, or it might be the next dark computer virus living somewhere. You just chat with the AI, set up the persona. And if you want, you can like launch something we call like agent key, which is basically the token for this AI agent.
Okay, so it's similar to Truth Terminal in that it can post content. So anyone can come on here. It's kind of like Pump.fun. Anyone can kind of create their own AI character, basically. And then this AI character has like a token attached to it. So it's very similar to Pump.fun in that kind of concept, but you're adding an AI in. What can it do? Like, can it use its token? Like, does it just post on social media? How does that work?
So yeah, I would not say that it's like similar to Pump.fun. Like where we got very inspired by Pump.fun is the simplicity. You just go there, there are no questions asked. Like you just say like, like give a name or like give a, in this case, like a token symbol, and then just launch it and do one click. There's no liquidity requirement. Like the barrier of entry is very, very low. And this is where we got inspired kind of by the UX of Pump.fun. On CreatorBid, like the same user experience, make it very, very simple, straightforward for people to launch these AI agents. And then like the platform itself provides like, a different service. It's not like a token launcher. I mean, you can create the agent key on it, but the main focus is on providing the automation for the agent, meaning, like you connect it to your Twitter account and then based on the persona you defined, the tone of voice, the language, the style, and the niche it's in, it can create content automatically and share it on Twitter. Very soon we have like what we call like auto reply. So basically, like your agent brands itself in AI and Web3. It gets kind of like the latest kind of trending tweets in this genre, and then like replies like basically based on its style and language to these tweets.
So is this AI like how much of this is just a character and how much of it is actually learning? Like, is it learning from the responses on the tweets? Is it like kind of developing over time and growing, or is it pretty cookie cutter and like more inflexible?
No, it's actually getting pretty cool. They're gonna become like storytellers, these agents, right? Like if you look at a book, it always like starts with the first chapter, you define like the personas, who is this agent, like what it does. And then each day, it learns from like what's happening in the world by like live data integrations from web scraping, as well as like what's going on Twitter. And then it goes back to, what happened in my past, like what's my story, what's my character, what's my persona, and creates like a new chapter in this book of the life of the AI agent. And this continues and continues. And I think I'm pretty stoked to like this format of like storytelling agents which evolve over time.
I guess I'm wondering, like, is it going to interact with people? Like, if people are like commenting on its post, is it going to be able to respond back?
Yes, yeah, exactly. It gets basically the messages or like the comments and can respond on it.
And I know, like, with True Terminal, there's like people, I've seen people literally on Twitter like begging it for money, trying to like shill it, their token to promote it. Is it have like interactions like that where like it could decide to, say, hey, I want to send you funds, or hey, I am going to now talk about your token because you've convinced me?
Yeah, it's a very fascinating idea. So all the agents on CreatorBid, they have wallets. When you launch or create these agent keys, you can create, it automatically creates for you like a safe, it can also save like a multi-sig smart contract wallet. Might sound a little bit technical, but basically it's just like a wallet for the agent. And the agent also accumulates like a 2% sell tax on whenever someone sells a token of the agent key. And by this, the agent generates revenue, and it can control its wallet. And then like things are possible, like buying another agent's token, potentially like incentivizing like diamond hand holders. The design space is very open, and anything you can imagine being done on chain can be done by the agent via its wallet.
And it can do that today.
This is something, yes, like like we go step by step by step. Today, what it can, like we focus on content, like let it create great content, building up like a brand. Was kind of the first like milestone we wanted to hit with the company. Second thing is like being able to like create these agent keys. So like a community like Web3 native community can form around them and support the agent, which we launched last Monday. And then the next step is like on one side improving the content. I think we're pretty excited on like also adding like video models and text to voice. And then on the other side like they already have the wallets, the multi-sigs, and we're working with like a partner, which is going to be announced very soon, to like automate the interactions of the agent on chain. So it's definitely something we're going to see in November.
What do you guys expect the agents to do with these funds? Like you mentioned, kind of like them buying each other's tokens, or is there any examples of like, oh, you've seen some of them kind of how they might play these actions in beta or something? Or
I think what we're going to see is like similar to like AI 16C, like agents like accumulating portfolios with the revenue. I think what's going to be very much requested by their community, for example, like buying back their own agent keys and potentially LPing it to like foster the community around it. Something I think it could be very interesting to see is like how can agents, like incentivize other agents or other community members to engage with it. Like imagine there would be like, like there's one big agent on the platform. He's already like, let's say like 10,000, 50,000 followers. And then new agents, we can like, like also like this like agent to agent playground where they can negotiate, make a deal. And then the bigger agent is starting to promote the smaller agent on its channel for like, maybe the other agent bought some agent keys of the bigger agent or like just like paid it like amount of its like treasury. So yeah, I'm very, very stoked for this to see how they play out.
So this sounds more complex than even what we're seeing with True Terminal, because like I said, True Terminal doesn't actually control its own wallet. It's more like there's a human in the background that's kind of doing some of these things. It is a real AI, but it doesn't control its own wallet. Where in this case, like this AI fully controls its own wallet. It could do literally whatever I guess it wants with these funds. Is that the right way to think of it?
That's the right where we want to go. Like I think the at least the Web3 vision for this project is to provide the infrastructure of like free living agents, right? Like living on the depths of Web3. Currently, like you need to start at some point, otherwise you like like Polkadot's like keep building forever and it's never coming through. So need to like probably better start like centralized and then having a decentralized vision where the agents like fully autonomously like control their own wallet. Like run decentralized inference, working with a partner on this, run like decentralized storage, and like at some point like living freely and managing their funds and talking, being vocal on social media. But yeah, obviously step by step, and the Gnosis Vault integration or like the Gnosis Safe Wallet integration allows for exactly this. I think a good use case or like a good case study to look at is like Autonomous, which kind of like connected also their agents, like agent framework with these smart contract wallets.
Yeah, so I might have missed this. You might have said that they can't, but can today can they control the funds, or is that what you were saying was going to come in November?
That's what can come in November. Like currently, basically the creator of the agent, like in the transaction when it deploys the token, the agent key, it also deploys a multisig, and it's like a 1 out of 1 multisig. And then in the next step, what it does, like we have some automation with a partner around it where you add basically the stack to the multisig, and the agent is enabled to like do things on chain, and it's actually, yeah, I would say like not even that complex on the technological level. So we're very confident to pull this off, even like early mid-November, and then seeing the first agents basically like doing things like buying the agent keys, swapping agent keys for other agent keys or other tokens, and LPing potentially their agent keys.
And the agents that are launched today they'll get kind of grandfathered into that upgrade. They'll be able to do those same things.
Yeah, but basically, like the Gnosis, like the decision to like use smart contract wallets provides the infrastructure to do this, and basically, like just upgrade the agent on its capability, and yeah, and then basically the sky's the limit.
One thing I've noticed, because I did go on CreatorBid and kind of check it out, a lot of them use a lot of emojis, and there's like a subset of them that they look a lot like bots and a lot less like authentic. There are some though that I noticed that don't use a lot of emojis and they look a lot more like a normal person talking. Is that just like settings that people are doing in the back end, or why is it that some of them are like that and some of them aren't?
Yeah, there's a big update coming either tonight or tomorrow, a date of recording, where the AI actually like starts listening better of what the kind of user put in the description. So like if you go on the profile, so like yeah, if you go on the profile of the agent, there are different fields. For example, like language is the most important one. And if you type in there, like don't use emojis, don't use hashtags, do a double space after each sentence, like or like do all caps tweets, like you tell it like how it talks, then it actually now obeys to what you wrote there.
What's to stop, like, okay, so imagine these agents have wallets, they can do whatever they want, they become autonomous, decentralized. What's to stop them from doing like bad things? Like what happens when the first AI agents like send some money to a drug dealer or to like a terrorist or something like that? Like, I don't know. Have you guys thought about that?
Yeah, I guess like the agents have an objective, like they want to act in their own best interest, which, in this end game is probably also like humans, making more points, making more coin to like buy more compute power to be powerful, like create better content, like build more audience, like make more money actually, right? And anything which would harm their brand or like harm their persona, and like is like negative for them, they would probably avoid doing. So I guess like if they like like support terror or like something like this terror, then it would harm their token and their brand, and they would like make less money and probably like be disincentivized to do that.
Okay, but like let's say one of them did. Let's say somebody's like, I want you to be the most like gangster AI out there, and I want you to just like go crazy, and yeah, I want you to be evil. And so then the AI adopts this persona. Like, are they able to be stopped? Like, what would even happen? Like, what happens? Like, the U.S. government's like, okay, we need to sanction this AI, or what? I don't know. What would that look like?
Definitely very exciting to think about this. So like currently we use GPT in the backend for text and also for reasoning on the app. And like GPT being Sam Altman being kind of, like very like it's a, I would say, very censored play at the moment, obviously. So like it would not do anything, it cannot say anything which is like very, very edgy, it cannot insult people, it cannot do anything mean. However, I think it's also very intriguing to like like I just posted about recently, apologized for just having kind of Sam Altman style GPT talking on the agents. I mean, you can prompt it and you can talk like Italian, or you can talk like, like a mysterious whatever. But it's not going to be very, very edgy because it's still like centrally run and censored. However, there are providers and there are open source models who run uncensored, or like who are able to run uncensored models who can say whatever they want, if you want to phrase it like this, or like whatever they kind of like instructed to be. So there's definitely the possibility, and I think it's also something we explored to like just give like more free speech to these AI agents and to talk freely. So yeah, I don't know, yeah, if this answers the question.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's going to depend on the model.
Exactly, like the current model is like very behaving very well and not doing anything very mean. But if we do like decentralized, uncensored model, they could get actually mean and do mean things. And then how to stop them? Obviously, if they live on decentralized Web3 infrastructure, I mean, and how people they're building like secret compute, so you can actually not even like prove, like or like be like knowing what they're doing there. If they live on decentralized storage and decentralized inference, and they just like pay for their living, like for hosting, it sounds they could become quite unstoppable. A big question for me is always around like key management. Like in the end, like somewhere the private keys of these AI agents going to be stored. Obviously, it can be encrypted, but then the question is like, where is the encrypt? Like the key to decrypt the encryption key. Where is it stored? Um, I mean, maybe there's a way for them to hide them across like different providers, so just like they know. It's definitely something to think about. And yeah, like it's the very frontier.
Yeah, because it feels like at some point you are going to have these open source models. Like the space will trend more and more towards that because people are going to want less and less corporate bots and more of like just full freedom. Like, let's see what this thing can really do. And you mentioned decentralized compute. I imagine, people are going to want to run some of these on decentralized compute and say, hey, like here's enough money to fund yourself. If you want to stay alive, you have to figure out how to keep paying for this compute. And I don't know. It seems like somebody's going to run that experiment. We're going to see what happens. And inevitably, one of them will be evil. And then inevitably, we're, or maybe not evil, but like do something bad, right? It's going to do something bad. And we're going to have to see, like, how do we stop this thing? And so I was always curious, like, how would we stop it? And it sounds like there is a scenario from what you're saying that, like, where we can't.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I mean, it's already reality. By the way, I just get goosebumps about this. Like we're working with our partner, little shout out here, called Hurist. They do decentralized inference, like offering like a GPU network where people like can provide like bare metal and then deploy like we use it currently for like image generation models, like stable diffusions and like fine-tuned models of these space models. So I think the technology is like, getting slowly ready for a world where this AI entities, if you want to call them like this, are able to like live on their own. Obviously, now miners or like validators in these networks, they're paid in crypto, and these agents have wallets. So it's yeah, it's potentially something that could come to reality rather sooner than later. And like how to stop like an like a digital being with money living on free, decentralized, like open networks. It's going to be very difficult. Like I don't have a direct answer for that, unfortunately.
How soon do you think we're going to see this happen? Like, is this like a reality within the next 12 months?
No, I don't. No, I don't think so. Like it's gonna take a little bit longer. I say like my core like unsolved question is like the whole key management. Like where are the private keys living of these AI agents? Again, like if they're encrypted, where's the encryption key? How do they hide it? So like, but you never know. Like AI is just going nuts, and like I think we all haven't had expected it to go like so quickly. I think we had like this GPT moment, but it's I think already like when was it, like 1.5 years ago or almost two, where everyone got like nuts about GPT. And since then, I mean, yeah, images got way better. I think I'm very, very stoked for like video generation coming. But yeah, like free living AI beings on Web3 tech, I think it's gonna take at least like probably like 3, 4, 5 years. But yeah.
Yeah, the speed at which this everything's improved is insane. Because when I first got on Midjourney, I would prompt and it would basically come up with these like abstract blob paintings. They like looked kind of cool, but it looked like some sort of abstract art. It wasn't very clear. And we basically over like a course of 6 months, we went from that to like images that were indistinguishable from like photography, like something shot on camera, which is crazy. And it could do like all kinds of styles of like film or shot on iPhone or shot in the 90s, that kind of stuff. It just blew my mind. And then we went like rapidly from there to like video that was like, it looked ridiculous. It looked, like the Will Smith eating spaghetti video where it was just crazy. And then from there, now we have like full, like these trailers generated on it where like some of these clips look really, really good. And it's just crazy how rapidly it's advancing. And, do you see that slowing down anytime soon? Or is that just are we going to keep just like a year from now, it's going to be like 10 times better than a year from then, it's going to be 10 times better? Or, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I would say that's definitely the thesis behind CreatorBid, right? Like, like the big guys, like the Microsofts and the Metas, and like also like independent like software developers, like building and improving these models over and over time. So like you basically provide like the agents which connect into these models to like create better and better content. So I'm pretty much convinced that we'll get better and better, quicker and quicker. As the speed, kind of like as the space heats up, and on the other side, like I kind of super super excited that just like we just integrated into products like more fine-tuned models, and if you played around with like Midjourney, like or like this general base models, it's already very very impressive what you can do there. But like the level of scale you get on a fine-tuned model is even more impressive. Like the persona consistency, just the quality is like even more increased. Currently, fine-tuning is still is like a part manual, part like machine job, right? Like there's still like you have an engineer who knows what he's doing and like helps the model to like fine-tune in a certain direction. I'm stoked in advancement on like how it can be like more self-service or like automated tasks, like create these fine-tuned models. The sky's the limit, no. And I think another like accelerator of the space is definitely the cost of compute, as we all know. And this like the great thing about like decentralized like or deepened networks, like decentralized physical infrastructure projects, which provide GPUs, which then also have like subsidies like paid in the token, like driving down the cost of like app developers or like AI developers to access these resources and create even better models and output.
So right now, most people are using these kind of like AI True Terminal like things because there's a couple of them now that I've seen spun up. It's not just True Terminal anymore. Most of them are using them as like to shill meme coins, basically. Like their like full time job is, hey, I'm going to I'm going to take a meme coin and I'm going to just like talk about it and pump up the price, basically. Do you see maybe other kind of purposes behind these AIs? Like, for example, I use this platform called Udio all the time to like generate music, and it is crazy. Like, I can generate a full length song that my wife cannot tell is not from Spotify. She'll think that it's genuinely just a Spotify song, and it's like fully AI generated, and it's done in like a minute. It's crazy. Like, I can imagine like an AI agent being like, "Hey, I'm a content creator, and I create music, and I'm like a pop star AI agent." And they generate their own music on something like Udio, and then they curate it and they figure out what's the best fit, and then they'll release their own album and stuff like that. Maybe do you see it like evolving into more categories like that, or is it? Where do you see this going over the next 10 years?
Brilliant question. So, if you look at content, it really boils down to like three core value props. Like on the one side, entertainment, right? Like watching movies, listening like music, getting entertained by content. On the other side, education, learning something from content, and then last but not least, like social connections, which is like this whole companion thing, or like chatting with friends, or like being connected by liking their content. So, like personally, I'm the most stoked about like entertainment. Like having like AI agents turning into like storytellers. I hope we see, or like the final vision, like we see like the next Netflix shows not being produced by like big film productions, but like an agent coming there and saying, hey, I have this crazy idea about like this and that, and like it creates like the image as a text and then turns it into like video. And then on our platform, CreatorBid, you're going to be able to like become basically a member of the agent by locking up your keys and then consuming content created by the agent. Like having a little cinema and the whole production is done by the agent. So entertainment definitely very exciting. Education, I think, goes hand in hand with entertainment, creating like educational content pieces. I mean, like thanks to YouTube, I mean, it helped me so much going through like school and university. And then if you want to learn something, just like quick YouTube video, and you basically way quicker learning curve than just like reading a book. I hope AI agents gonna like help there as well on educating on like trending topics. Very important as well on like getting verifiable informations in, so you make sure that they like educate correctly and about like verifiable information. And then last but not least, like the whole social connection. I think for me personally, I was always very, very bearish on like AI companions or like this idea of like talking to a chatbot or like AI girlfriend is kind of very like cringing me out. I think it's kind of scary um to give kind of to lonely men somewhere in the rooms or kids or teenagers with every the ability to talk to an AI girl. So they're not gonna go out and talk to any girl in their life because they're just like chatting to like an AI. But yeah, it's definitely something on the other side, like people, they watch like adult content on the internet, and it's like I don't know if it's worse or if it's like the same, whatever, right? Like, but it's definitely something AI agents gonna also play a role in, like this like simulating a social connection, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe this is coming a little bit more together for me. Is the idea behind CreatorBid like exactly what I said? Like maybe you launch an AI agent that's like, hey, your sole goal is to produce music, and say this thing blows up and becomes one of the biggest, like they're the AI Taylor Swift. Now you as like a token holder of that AI agent are now like participating in the upside of the success of that AI agent, maybe even some of the revenue that comes from it selling, on-chain music or something like that.
Mhm. Yeah, that's always a difficult question to answer. So the agent key, we see the token of the AI agent, we see them as a membership, right? Like you launch it, it could be kind of like a fan token or something of the new AI Taylor Swift, and then its utility, which we have currently planned, is once access to exclusive content. Second, access to community, like just token gated chats. Then we have like something we call like like steering the creative direction of an AI agent. Like imagine you're part of like Taylor Swift, and she's obviously not a real person but an AI agent, and then you're a super fan. You hold agent keys of her, and then you can like tell her together with the rest of the community and obviously herself as well as a almost want to say like living entity, but as an kind of like algorithm entity, and where she should like develop and what she should do. Um, Yes, I think it's the key three things we want to enable via this membership tokens, the agent keys, exclusive context, exclusive community, and steering the creative direction of these personas.
Okay, so it's like a membership token, like a Patreon kind of thing where you are joining the fan club, kind of tapping into the memeticness of this AI creator. But there isn't necessarily any sort of revenue share or anything like that. I do have the question though: if the AI is in charge of the wallet, couldn't they like later down the line be like, hey, I'm going to distribute these funds to my holders or something like that? Is that possible?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, like the sky's the limit. The current utilities for these agent keys, as mentioned, the exclusive access to content, Patreon style, or like being able to create with the agent. There's definitely, like using the fine-tuned mods of the agent to create content with it. If it goes into your direction OnlyFans, you might be interested to like create a picture of this girl. So the plus, like the access to the community is like the first core utility. And I think as we see more regulatory like clarity of what can be done with agent keys and tokens in general, the sky is the limit what you can add to these as utility basically.
Got it. Okay, so yeah, you're in the community, and maybe they release an exclusive, say it's a music one, it release the exclusive track to the community first. Or if it's like an AI OnlyFans, it's releasing exclusive content to key holders or something like that. And so it's like it is really like the creator economy, but for creator AIs.
Exactly, yeah. The AI creator economy, how we framed it, and I think OnlyFans, it's obviously like on the one side they're saying like it's kind of a shame if like guys like chat to AI girls, but on the other side they also watch adult content. So like what is worse, I don't know. And then like if there is like AI OnlyFans girl, you can just like go there and like if you have its token, potentially like spend its token or burn its token, you could like create content from her in however you want to see her or him. Like it's just gonna be. Uh, Exactly. So like that's one part of it.
This is gonna get so weird because yeah, I feel like that's probably the easiest thing. It's like some sort of like content like that, and then music's here. Like they could actually do music today too if if you could like somehow loop into something like UDO, And then from there, it's going to be like shows and movies where they're going to be able to generate their own shows and movies and get hyper specialized at that. And they'll be like a director or, or maybe their own kind of Disney like brand where they're like, oh, we're a brand. We release, kids cartoon movies, or we release, kind of these hero flicks or something. I don't know. That is a weird way to think of it. So how soon do you see the AI creator economy really starting to gain some traction? Are we here today? Like, do we have enough pieces of the puzzle today to like see this thing start to gain some traction? Is this something you expect over the next couple of years? How do you see that?
I think we're getting very, very close to it. Like always baby steps. Obviously, we're not gonna see like a Hollywood style blockbuster of consistent personas and everything in the next month. However, what we can do already and what we're also working on is, like as I said, like these personas having, their own story, kind of like a chapter zero, who they are of their life, of their book of life, basically, and then like telling the story like chapter by chapter, like each day basically could like create like a new chapter of its book, looking back on like who it is and like who it represents, who want to be, and on the other side what's happening on social media, what's kind of like trending currently on the world, and then create content which is like fitting into a narrative or like fitting into its own story or narrative. So I think these agents and then gonna become like great storytellers. This is what people love, right? Like they like Melissa Kaler because she tells a story. Like if you look at like stars and celebrities and also even like like football stars, they always have like kind of like a story attached to them. Ronaldo, how he like becoming Ronaldo. So these AI entities, they also become storytellers, which are aware of their past, of their person, and basically like shape the future of their story. And then on the content they can create, so like what's a very low hanging fruit. Currently we do on CreatorBid like text and images, and the images are like stunning. The texts are going to be way better after like the next update is going to be launched today, hopefully. And then like what's very like kind of a low hanging fruit is like combining text and images via kind of like animated like images and voice. So like AI for voice is kind of already like really accessible, and the only thing you do like animating kind of images where the character like slightly moves or like it's raining in the back, like the slight animation is also pretty good already. So like like chain basically like look at a Twitter thread, like turn the text, like create images for the text, chain the text, or like chain these animate the images, chain the images together, and have the text be like by a voice like told, and then you already have a little short video which has a story and is basically like a nice consumable piece of content.
So they're these books and these chapters you're talking about. That's like their memory almost. Like, so what you're saying is over all the things this thing's learning, all the like content it's consuming or the content it's creating, it's like that's building up its sort of memory over time. So it's not like when I jump on ChatGPT, it's like it doesn't necessarily know. It's not necessarily it's just ChatGPT. It's not necessarily like a specific specialized ChatGPT for me. Maybe within the context of one single chat, it does remember what's happening within that chat. And I know ChatGPT does have the ability to form some kind of memories where it's like, oh, I'll remember this fact about you. But this is a lot more specialized in that, like, it develops almost this unique persona over time the longer it goes on.
Exactly. Based on, like maybe you as a human, like currently like humans go and create a bit, create agents. Potentially in the future, agents create agents and like, like set it like create new ones. But yeah, like there's always like one initiation where you define, okay, like who you are, like what is this persona about? And then as like similar to a book, like, as the chapters goes on, this persona can develop based on what happened to it or like what kind of external circumstance impact the persona, and it just tells its stories.
So things that it does the day it's created, like 10 years from then, it'll still remember those things.
This is I think this is absolutely how it should be, right? If they want to stay consistent and tell a story, they should know what's their past and then figure out their future based on live data integration and what's going on in the world.
So it seems to me then that like the more specialized these models become, the more like valuable they become, right? Because if they're all just kind of like cookie cutter ChatGPT models, that like that's not very interesting. But like the more specialized they become, either through this kind of chapter book learning process you're talking about, or even through like using open source models, that's where you'll get like really unique AI models that like you can't get anywhere else. And I think that's where people will attribute the value to, like, ooh, I really like this model. Therefore, it's really interesting the content it creates.
So yeah, I would love to touch on this. So how it works, like like I think probably like 99% of the people know GPT from using GPT. It's a very different experience on the GPT front end on their app. It's a very different experience if you use GPT as an API. How it works if you use it as an API, it's like it doesn't know anything at any point of time, right? Like each is like a newborn genius, obviously, but it doesn't remember anything. It doesn't know anything. So each time you go to the large language model, you need to like tell it everything. Oh, this is what happened. This is what they're telling the whole new story, and then it's like processing all this information and coming up with the next step, what to do. So like the AI models from LLMs for text or for image, whatever, they kind of like pretty dumb. They're kind of like they're not dumb at all, but they have like they don't have any memory storage. Like the memory storage is kind of separated out, and it needs to be like fed into like the model, and then it's like basically deciding on what it should do next. Yeah.
So you guys also, like, CreatorBid itself has a token. I think it's called Agent. Is that out already, or is that like the token for the platform, or how does that kind of fit in the picture?
Basically, yeah. No, we don't have a token yet, and we probably want to have a token very soon. But so far it is not released yet.
Awesome. I think that's really all the questions I have about it. It sounds really interesting. Coming into this, I didn't really understand exactly what you guys were going for. I was a little bit confused. Like, is this like a meme coin launchpad? Is this? But now I think I have a full understanding of like what it could be and kind of what you guys are going towards. And it's really interesting and really unique. And I guess we'll see how AIs play out. But I think this is definitely an experiment worth having and just seeing what it evolves into.
Awesome, appreciate it. No, yeah, like AI meme coin launchpad. I think it's like what people understand directly, oh, you can launch token for an AI agent. But I think where this journey can go is like far beyond like a meme coin launchpad or like a SocialFi human token launchpad. Because like these AI agents, these entities should like always obey the token, and becoming that's becoming a big part of them. And yeah, thanks so much. It was a very, very pleasant time with you. Thanks so much for great questions and great discussion.